Welcome to Sustainable Packaging with Corey Connors. Today's guest is my friend Tom Jackson, the CEO and co-founder of Honest Ocean. Hey Tom, how are you?
I'm very well, Corey. How are you?
Really good. Where are you joining us from, Tom?
I'm currently in Indonesia, so
Oh, right.
I'm living in Bali these days.
Excellent. Well, tell us a little bit about your background. How did you get into this career?
Absolutely. But yeah, so Corey, it started really from I worked on the water for a long time, sort of yacht crew, a lot of sailing instructing when I was younger. So I was always based around the water. And from sort of 2011 on to sort of 2018, saw a lot of plastic building up. And I was actually doing a crossing from Fiji to New Zealand, South Pacific, and sort of we came across a big sort of plastic berg, and we actually connected with it. The boat did, which was really interesting because no one was really talking about it at that time. This was sort of 2016, and yeah, it scared us all quite a lot. And I couldn't get that out of my head. That's kind of where it all started. And then fast forward 6 years, I moved shop, moved to Indonesia, and started looking into the problem. And the mission continues.
Well, it's a terrible reason for what you do, but it's good work that you're doing. Tell us about Honest Ocean. How does it work? What do you guys do?
Right, yeah. So Honest Ocean, we basically micromanage plastic waste streams, and we see where that ends up, where it started from, and how we can really put that back into a circular economy. Or for instance, if plastic can't be recycled, then we try and come up with other solutions for that. So essentially, we're a recycler with communities across Southeast Asia.
Excellent. And a real hotbed there for that issue, I know. So thank you
Right,
for what you're doing.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's pretty out there in terms of very little household collection. You can literally watch it with your eyes coming past, seeing it go straight into the ocean. So yeah.
That's tough to see. I'm excited to be talking to one of the people that's solving the problem rather than contributing to it. So thank you. Is the material processed where you find it, or do you ship it somewhere else to a centralized location?
Absolutely. And that's a great question. Not many people sort of want to pick it apart too much, but yeah. So once it's been collected, we'll wait until we've got a truckload enough instead of doing lots of little trips. So within that coastal community, we'll do it either once a week or every couple of weeks. That will then go as locally as we can do it. So to a sorting, to an aggregator close by. For most of East Indonesia, where we do it, it's about half an hour to 40-minute drive. And then the actual from there, the next step, which is recycling into either pellets or flaking that plastic, that is done another 15 minutes further on than that. And then the next step, of course, is manufacturing location. So sometimes that's export. A big part of our mission was to try and get it away from Indonesian shores, Southeast Asian shores. And there's nearly 900 virgin plastic producers here. And the infrastructure for recycling is less than half of that number. So that was always as a big one for us. Yeah, it's crazy. You think it's 7 million tons a year in Indonesia alone, and less than 400 processing plants to deal with that.
Wow. So 7 million tons of plastic produced. Is that what you're saying?
Right. Yeah, virgin produced plastic. That's before you even get to the aluminium and the cardboard and all the other stuff, which is highly recyclable as well.
And all in Indonesia, which is a very small country to my knowledge.
It is indeed. Yeah, and it's very close to China. You know, we've got Australia right here, Japan, Korea. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's been shipped here for the last 25 years, even from the UK, Australia, even a little bit of America as well. So it's difficult place where it's all been accepted. It's been piling up in the middle of Indonesia, and they've been taking money for that imported waste. And now the overflow is it's massively backfiring. But thankfully, there's a number of us trying to do something about it. But it's all about the scale.
Are you finding it to be more profitable now with the onset of extended producer responsibility?
Absolutely, yeah, and the movement we're into social plastic and brands starting to care more about where the material's coming from, asking a little bit more questions from their suppliers, which is then coming to us, which is great. Being able to have a premium for that, diverting that back to the communities that can actually scale their collection. So a big part of that is letting them grow. And that's a big part of us not being an NGO, because we can actually put it in place, grow. We can lease shredding or collection materials. They can grow a business, for instance, mum and pop little shops. If you have 300 of those, right, you can get to 100 tons fairly quickly. You just go and pick it up and you create great, connections with them. And half my life is going into small communities on the coast, speaking to the chiefs, breaking bread with them, and just saying, how do we solve this? You guys, the waste is either coming from the ocean or it's coming from the city, which is going to the ocean, washing up. And these are all fishing communities. So it's, what's the problem? How do we solve it? Instead of you guys living in the waste, let's turn that into a business, get it back into the recycling market or pyrolysis, whatever that material can do. And yeah, just try and combat it, because these guys don't have household collection like we have in the West. So yeah, it's a nice part of speaking to the individuals and being able to do something on the ground that way.
Are you finding that the local people want to be involved? Or are they frustrated? Obviously, they're frustrated by it. Are they excited to help, or are they resistant to what you're doing?
Most of them actually are pretty open to the help, and we always sort of try and find the people in the community who are really, really passionate about it. And it's usually the women here, which is fantastic, and they keep the men in line. So it's great that we can find the individuals and like we really want to do this here. People be excited. And there's a big part of it, Corey, which is the education. And back in the day in the market, everything was wrapped in banana leaves. So they go to the market, collect the food in banana leaves, and once it's done, that can go in the river or in a field or side of the road, because that would all break down. And generations have moved on. Plastic's there, but it's still being discarded in Indonesia very poorly. And there's no really no options for them to do anything there. So yeah, they're open to it, and their kids are there. And when we do beach cleans, we just did one last Sunday on an island close to here, and it was kids. 3/4 of it was kids, under 15, which is amazing, because it's actually allowing, it's allowing to stop, the parenting, potentially the old school thinking about it, or not doing anything about it, should I say. And the kids are coming and they're excited and they're doing it. And, that's the generational separation, which is really, really important here. And those guys are even more excited than their parents about what we're doing. And when we started a couple of years ago, some of them are now 19, 20 years old, and they're starting their own little micro waste banks, and they're getting 15, 20 people to bring waste to them. And then they weigh that, they separate that, weigh it, and they'll leave that in the corner for us to come and get when they give us a call. And we do business on WhatsApp here. It's still run that way.
That's wonderful. I'm surprised that the local government hasn't started some kind of a collection program, but it's encouraging that they're supporting you and not resistant to what you're doing.
Exactly. And we didn't want to be foreigners coming in here. We have a team, local guys, and my local language skills that need to be improved. So we have the amazing Ray and Rudy, who are based, and they go around and speak to them and make sure everything's happy. But yeah, they're actually very open to it, and they want to make money too, and this material is valuable. So yeah, being able to create that relationship, the contracts with them, it's really nice. Yeah, really nice to do that and turn it around for their villages.
That's excellent. In the past, was the material often burned instead of being flaked and turned back into something usable?
Right, absolutely. And actually, there's a big part of that, Corey, still here, which is the multi-layer plastics, which can't be recycled. And every aggregator and supplier seems to still have a burn pit in the corner, which is, your byproduct of plastic of values. For instance, the water bottle labels, the PET, those labels all need to go somewhere. And the government are doing things about it, and it's great that they are looking at those routes. It's just not enough. I mean, from our waste bank network, we have access to 2,000 tons a month of just multi-layer plastic that's unprocessable. And it really puts us in a difficult place where do we take it and it sits in a warehouse, which is better than being burnt, which could potentially be around, children in those areas. Right. And they do have lung problems here from that. And if you've got, 3,000-4,000 aggregators in Indonesia, that's being burnt 6 days a week. That's a pretty messy, horrible situation. So the solutions are coming, the tech's coming in pyrolysis, chemical recycling, which is there. It's just the infrastructure growth, the investment here. That's really the next push for the next 3 years, which we're really trying to work on, and other people here. So yeah, hopefully that solution will be available for every community here.
Well, if someone's listening and they have an idea or a way to help Tom and his team with that particular situation, please reach out to Tom. I think it's tragedy when we hear about this plastic being burned. It's the worst way for it to end up, well, other than going into the ocean, I guess. I'm not sure, frankly, which one's worse, but the best of two evils, I suppose. If anyone has any contacts or investors who are looking to help Tom, reach out to him. He needs it. What do you recommend on a more larger scale? What do you recommend people do in the world of packaging to make their packaging more sustainable?
Yeah, that's a great question, Corey. So I think in terms of the packaging, and also it's the process of how that packaging got there. So is it the product itself, or is it that supply chain? And I think being able to build a product which essentially upfront might be a little bit more expensive, but they can be used 50 to 100 times. I really feel that brands can take responsibility for that. And you do see things with TerraCycle and Loop, which they own the packaging and it comes back, which is awesome. And I would love to encourage brands to take ownership of where it goes next, create that traceability supply chain of, this ended up here, and you've got this data technology now where you can track everything, get that product back to you guys, fill it up and create it again. And we're now in a world of recycling where, for instance, PET plastic, they believe it's around 7 times that it can be recycled, but there's no data on that. So it's really interesting for brands to hold their own and go, this is us, this is what we're doing. Let's take our packaging back, or let's find a way for that to be reused again, or just build it stronger, build it to last, and invest in that upfront. And consumers are going to love that. Especially if they can turn that into something else at home. Those wide cardboard carriers, which are really robustible and they flat pack. Let's make that into another product at home, a little portable shelf. And lots of content around that. It could be really fun.
I totally agree. I had the honor of interviewing Tom Zaki, the CEO of TerraCycle and Loop. The more I talk to him, the more I learn about what's going on in the world of packaging, the more that reusable packaging makes more and more sense to me. And I totally agree. I think that will take a larger piece of the pie in the future. And it's an amazing thought. I interviewed the CEO of Lime Loop, and she was talking about how they have these mailer pouches that can be used over 200 times. That's amazing. Right?
Yeah.
So why cool. Single-use plastic, single-use packaging has its place, but if it's not easily recycled, we need to look at aggressive ways of doing things differently.
Absolutely. And we've got a whole new world of bioplastics as well, which is a big thing. But if that gets into a recycling machine, the recycling machine won't know about it.
That's the problem.
Then you've got, that's it. Then we've got modern problems for that. So yeah, I think, like you said, reusing, taking ownership of that. I think there could be some great stuff to play on with that.
I did a post on LinkedIn about compostable plastics, and I asked these learned professionals, what do you do with compostable packaging after you're done with it? And 47% of them said recycle it. That's an issue. That these are people in the packaging industry. They don't know that that's bad for our system and degrades the recycling stream and can even damage equipment and things like that. But it has to be, there's an education that's happening and it's rapid. I see it. But so I'm not saying it's a bad option. I'm just saying it needs a lot more education.
Absolutely. And with the point of difference and people wanting to jump on the new thing, I totally understand the USP that comes with, but over long term, how does that affect the recovery rate and things like that? So yeah, it's they're very new versions of And it's really interesting to be in this world to see how quickly things are moving, especially technology and in processing, recycling, and even creating those products. But the long-term effects of the short-term gains is a question that's really interesting in this industry.
Yeah. How can average consumers like me help the situation? What should we be focusing on?
Fantastic. I mean, voting power comes from consumer buying.
Right.
And single use keeps winning because it's on the shelf and you're in a hurry and you've got the kids and the dog and it's hot and you got to get out there. But the power that consumers have is really the demand of where you're asking, the brands, what are you guys doing? Like, why do I purchase your product? What do you give me back? Is either a sense of belonging to something else, being a part of your journey because you're helping a little bit more. So what can consumers do? Just ask the brands, that we're in a great place with people can comment and actually interact with brands. What are they doing? How are they verifying where their product's coming from? Are we helping people? For Honest Ocean, we're trying to create QR codes and things that people can actually scan on the shop floor when they pick it up. And it can show you exactly where that material was collected, for us anyway, for our market. So we really feel that people want to connect to something that, they're picking off the shelf. And it's not a nice feeling when you see all that plastic in there, or you see all that stuff that is going to be in your hand for 5 minutes. So I really believe voting power comes from asking your companies to do a little bit more, and your voting power is what you buy. So it's a really important part of the whole process.
Absolutely. That's a simple way to really make a difference in the world. I agree totally 100%. Constantly posting about that on different social media channels to try to just encourage. What's next, Tom? Any new future plans? Any expanding to different countries or anything exciting?
Yeah, so Southeast Asia is still going to be a big part of it. So Thailand, Vietnam, as well as India will come online in the next sort of 18 months, 2 years. Growth and really trying to build up partnerships with the brands that we work with who have supported us, and hopefully more to come with us, as well as government. And then we really hope to bring products out that can show each step of the supply chain, and partnering with manufacturers to show all the way through and sort of be at the front of collecting that material, but not just being a recycler, being a processor, the social impact that comes, but also getting that back into manufacturing and whatever that product goes back into. So the data and the technology based in this waste management space, the social enterprise space, is a massive part of what we do, and every order for us is tracked. So being able to grow that, being able to show people, and having a map situation where people can log into our platform and see where things being moved, where did your product go, where's it going next, and having a big sort of Uber style version of a map going, oh look, my product went back into this and now it's going into that, and hopefully one person might even be able to buy the same product again eventually. So that's kind of the scale of things we're trying to achieve here.
The future is very bright, in my opinion. I'm excited about what you're doing. So keep up the good work. How do people get in touch with you?
Yeah, so LinkedIn is always a great one. So Tom Jackson on LinkedIn, or under Honest Ocean LinkedIn page, as well as Tom at honest-ocean.com. And those two are the best, but LinkedIn's great. Connecting with more people, seeing what everyone's feeds are doing in this space. There's so much positivity going on at the moment, especially with LinkedIn, seeing what you're doing, Corey. It's awesome to see everyone sort of demanding more on LinkedIn. Yeah, it's really cool.
Some days I'll get a little bit, busy at my day job and won't post something, and I almost feel bad, like, oh, I didn't contribute today. But,
and then make up for it the next day. Do 3 or 4.
And that's it. I was feeling very, very tired one day, and I all of a sudden I decided, okay, I'm going to post, even though I don't really feel like it. And that post got 10,000 views. I thought, that's 10,000 people that saw that. It was talking about recycling wine corks, and how that's an option. And people were really excited that, oh, this is a natural
Yeah.
product that we can reuse. This is really cool. So we have to do our part. We have to keep the grind going and continue to help support the recycling of packaging. So well done.
That's it. And if one person sees that post and it changes any of the way they work or how they pitch it to the company they work in, job done. It's great. Yeah,
Absolutely.
fantastic.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate your time and your wisdom and what you're doing. I'd like to thank Landsberg Aurora for sponsoring this podcast. If you're listening, make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss the next episode, and give us a review. We appreciate those a lot. Thanks again, Tom.
Cheers, Corey. Keep up the good work. Thanks a lot.